Hello and welcome to the Tongue of the Trees channel. My name is Elizabeth Ashley, the Secret Healer, and I understand you want to know, what do you use tea tree essential oil for? Well, come to the right place. I am a clinical aromatherapist with over 25 years professional experience. I am also the UK director for the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapists. I'm a writer and author of the Secret Healer series of aromatherapy manuals, of which there are over 20. And importantly, I am also the co-creator of the Tongue in Trees essential oil oracle cards. So these cards are more involved in the emotional, mental and spiritual aspects of the essential oils, and there is a card in here for tea tree essential oil, but really it's a physical oil, mainly working on the physical body. So we'll talk about that solely today. But then if you're interested in going further, at the end of this little bit I will give you details of how you can go to another video, again free but just on my website, that goes more into more aspects about using essential oil. So first of all, let's start off by talking about how do we use it on the body. So let's have a look at the slide. So first of all, it's antibacterial. Probably the most important aspect of tea tree, really. If there's any bugs or lurgies or germs, then we can zap them with tea tree. So I like to use it if if you've got coughs or colds, and you know how when you've got a cold you can feel it tickling at the back of your throat. I like to use a bit of tea tree just to kind of get the immune system working and start to overpower these allergens. It's tremendous antibacterial oil and antimicrobial. If somebody's got colic and they are suffering with gripes and stomach cramps, that kind of thing, then usually we can say that we can suspect it would probably be because of some kind of bacterial infection. So I would usually use something like chamomile, dill, peppermint, that kind of thing to soothe the cramping, but I would also use tea tree to try and get to the base of what is starting it off, really. Mouth ulcers and thrush. Now, between you and I, there isn't an aromatherapist around, I wouldn't have thought, who hasn't tried the internet trick of putting tea tree neat on a tampon to get rid of your thrush. Let me tell you, bad plan. Really, really bad plan. Really hurts. We don't do that, right? But essential oils absorb through the skin into the bloodstream, so we dilute them into a carrier oil, rubbing it on the pelvis if it's that kind of thrush. On the outside of the face will absorb through into the mouth, or in the same way as with mouth ulcers, we can put a little bit into some vodka and then dilute it into some water and make a mouthwash, and all of that helps to alleviate those problems too, and any kind of oral hygiene, really. A nice one is toothbrush. Just sterilise the toothbrush in tea tree. That's very good, because of course you keep putting the same bacteria back, really, don't you, if you're not careful. So soaking your toothbrushes in tea tree is absolutely fantastic. Any kind of coughs, colds, respiratory problems, I would always blend it with some eucalyptus for respiratory to get rid of that. And eucalyptus is quite a difficult oil to use on children, whereas tea tree is easier. It's not without its concerns, and we'll talk about that in the other video as well, but it is definitely easier to use. It's a very practical oil to have around, you know, and it's very protective. If somebody has bronchitis, any kind of infection at that level, then superb. So the slide says oily skin and acne, and I would definitely agree that acne, because it gets to the bacterial levels, I think I'd use something like bergamot with it to cut through the grease and the oiliness. It is very astringent, there's no doubt that it clears it, but it's quite drying if you're not careful, as is lavender. You know, if you use too much lavender on the skin, the sebum glands decide, oh, we're not going to make as much then because you don't need it anymore. It becomes drying, and tea tree can feel very tightening and drying. But if you've got acne and you've got oily skin and acne, then absolutely perfect. Stimulates appetite, also very good for dandruff, and I would also add to this, it's not on the slide, but nits. I use it to treat the nits. So for nits, you're going to put it into a conditioner and leave it on for 40 minutes or so. For dandruff, you don't need to leave it on so long, but remember that if you put it into a shampoo, you're going to put it onto your hair, you're going to scrub it off, and you're going to rinse it off before it even has chance to do any work. So putting it into a massage oil or something like that and just putting it onto the scalp really helps with that kind of thing. Herpes simplex, in particular cold sores, fantastic for that. But obviously herpes simplex, shingles and chickenpox and genital warts, all of those fall under the herpes simplex, and tea tree is superb for overcoming any of those. Candida, again, same sort of thing as the thrush, really, isn't it? And athlete foot, yeah, because what we haven't put here is it antifungal. That's why it's good for candida. That's why it's good for thrush. So any kind of fungal infection. So you could use it on your feet. What I would say though is those kind of situations tend to fleck off microbes. So if you're treating athlete's foot, also gather up the socks, put them in the washing machine, and in the last cycle, last sort of rinse of the washing machine, just drab a couple of drops of tea tree into those, so that you're killing those microbes in the socks. Otherwise you're just putting it straight back onto the foot again. But most importantly, excuse me, it's an immune stimulant. If you are struggling with any kind of dis-ease, then tea tree will help to boost the system. It's tremendous that way. Now, it has many other properties outside of that. It also has safety issues, and how does one blend it? I'm not going to cover any of those in this video because I've done a masterclass video. All of that is in there, and so I would like to invite you across to come and see that, to learn a lot more in depth how to use tea tree essential oil. We've talked about what you use it for, but what do you use tea tree essential oil for? For emotional support. How do you use it for mental health? How do you use it for any kind of spiritual things going on in your life? And I always say, I don't necessarily mean religious by that word. I mean the essence of you, the challenges that you face day to day, what people expect of you versus what you want to do. You know, those kind of things, cultural, familial, societal. Life's an ongoing battle, isn't it? That journey. I hate using the word journey, but it is, isn't it? Back to yourself and away from yourself all of the time. And health is very much dependent on getting that right. Emotional well-being is dependent on physical well-being. Is always dependent on emotional well-being. So there is no better tool for managing that than these essential oils. And that's what these cards are for. So I would like you to come across and learn about those. Well, as I say, we're going to talk about the safety. What I'll also teach you is how to get your hands on this book for free. As you can see, it's a very big book, and it covers properties of 100 different essential oils, as well as some blends by professional aromatherapists. We'll talk, as I say, a lot more about these, how we use these, and I'll talk to you about how you can get your hands on a set. Now, we have partnered with a tremendous essential oil dealer. They will distribute these for us, and also if you decide you want some tea tree oil, they can send that to you too, and you'll save yourself a small fortune in shipping, won't you? So this is a tea tree oil card. Now you can see that they are absolutely beautiful. I have nothing to do with the design at all. I do the writing. So it comes with a little brochure that tells you, they've all got all little poems in that I've written, verses, as if the essential oil is talking to you and about how it's going to help you through a particular problem. So we'll talk about that. As I say, we'll talk about how you can get your hands on that. But if over and above that you think, well, okay, you've given me lots of information about what I do with this bottle of essential oil, I'm not sure about the safety. We will talk about whether it's safe in pregnancy, breastfeeding for the kids, is it safe around the cats, the dogs, how much you should use. If that's not enough, then you'll also get some information about how you can access another video that helps you make some of the products that we've been talking about. So I will go through with you, right, I would use 5 drops of this, 4 drops of this, right, we'll put this carrier oil in, let's stir it up together, right, this is how long we need to leave it to cool. So there's a huge amount to be had in the next video. As I say, it's completely free of charge, it's not going to cost you anything, it's purely in a different place. And if you are somebody who is selling doTERRA tea tree essential oil or Young Living tea tree essential oil, your pitch is going to be based on how good you are at getting inside the mind of your customer. So please do come across and learn about not just the physical stuff, the emotional stuff and spiritual stuff, as well as, importantly, the safety. Because obviously I've spent 30 years getting absolutely spot on with my essential oil safety. And I do think if you want to learn something well, you go to somebody who knows what they're talking about. So I'm really glad that you've come to me to talk to me about aromatherapy. But if you want to learn about YouTube, then you go to a 10-year-old, don't you? If you've got a 10-year-old, you'll know what I mean. So I'm going to hand you over in a moment to my son Dexter, who will tell you about how to like and share and subscribe to the channel, which really help our business. So I hope that you do that. There are 56 cards in this box, so there will be 56 masterclasses. So Dex will also show you how to get notifications to tell you every time that Gagley and I upload any new content, so that you can always go absolutely to the masterclass and get the information before anybody else. I forgot to tell you, actually, also in the masterclass we talk about blending. Gagley, who does the design work, is a fantastic aromatherapist. He's a Hungarian aromatherapist, and he has a much better eye than I do, but he has a much better nose than I do. So he has put together the blending side to tell us which oils work well with which sets of essential oils. So I'm going to steal that information. So there's loads, isn't there? Absolutely loads. And to get to that, if you look underneath the video, now you will see in the description there is a link that will take you through to my website, and you will find the masterclass there. So I'm going to hand you over to Dex, but in the meantime, thank you for staying with me while we've talked about what do you use tea tree essential oil for.
So you get your phone, you turn it this way up, and then there's a little red subscribe button. Turn it grey by clicking it, and then there's a little bell. Click that and press all at the bottom of your phone or tablet or computer. It'll say you will receive all notifications. And then there's a little hand with a thumbs up. Click that, it'll turn it blue and it says added to your liked videos. And there will be comments. And if you want to, you can send a comment and say like hi's to Mum and Gerglei. And then the link to the next video will be in the description below underneath the video. So, bye!